we have a lot of chemists who study a lot of nice things. In here, I used to take my labs and all this, and it was very nice. The thing about this chemistry building, though, it's getting more and more famous nowadays because we are pioneering something known as green chemistry by a very famous a Nobel nominee, basically. So he's finding this thing called green chemistry, basically sustainable chemistry, because a lot of things we do nowadays are impacting the environment in many ways than we previously thought. And so we're revolutionizing new techniques for chemistry that makes it has a less impact on the environment nowadays. So yes, green chemistry is something that at McGill. There you go. Should I tell you guys one of the reasons why I came to this university? Yeah, I will tell you that. So
It's chemistry.
no, it's not the chemistry. But I did have chemistry for this university for one reason though. But it's a bit of a story, so you mind listening to my story just a little bit? If you don't mind? You're kind of forced to anyway.
Do we have a choice?
Yeah, you're stuck anyway. So, just really quickly, I just want to give you guys some background on me. So, although we're a very international school, right? I'm one of the 39 Malaysians who are on campus, right? So I'm like a rare species. I'm like a unicorn basically at this university, right? It's very fun.
You can see that.
Very fun and very nice. Thank you. However, though, how did I want to say this? Mind you that I finished my high schooling in Texas, right? Texas is very different from Malaysia, right? Back then, my family moved around a lot for work, right? And we landed in Texas where my dad was still getting paid in Malaysian ringgit. Back then, we had to convert 4 Malaysian ringgit for every US dollar that we needed, right? And so it was very expensive to just get by. We needed to buy food, buy housing, buy everything that we needed from the Malaysian to the US dollar. And actually, university was not on the playing table for me. If you guys want to have a seat, you can. But yeah, maybe you just want to rest your feet. But yeah, just sit quietly. But yeah, actually, university was not on the playing table for me back in the day, just because of the finances, right? And so I thought, okay, maybe that's okay. Maybe I can just become a plumber, a handyman, a ranch hand. I used to work on a ranch. I rode the horses and all this. It was very fun. But maybe I didn't have to go to university and get a degree, however. My guidance counselor, though, that's why I love counseling like you guys, right? My guidance counselor, she was very nice to me. She said, your grades are actually really strong and very nice. What, maybe you should just go apply to universities, maybe get a scholarship, right, for the money, right? And that's what I did. I applied to lots of schools in the US, I applied to lots of schools in Canada, in Europe, and in Malaysia, of course. One of them being McGill, obviously. So I was very happy to get my acceptance to McGill because actually in Malaysia, McGill is quite famous in my family, right? And so when I got accepted, my family was like, wow, this guy's very smart, don't touch him, don't touch him. It's like all my aunties and my uncles, they were like, this guy's amazing, don't even touch him. But when I showed McGill my international passport, they said, money, I mean, how are you? Here is the international tuition fee for you, my friend, which is not cheap, unfortunately, but it's much cheaper than anything in the United States right now. So if you're thinking about the US, maybe Canada might be a financially better option for your students at least. For me, though, it was still a bit expensive for me, so I thought, darn, maybe I can't do it here. But my parents, though, they were very smart. I love them very much, you know. Because what they did, they had a secret weapon up their sleeve. They had something akin to the Trump card. No relation to the President Trump or anything like that back in the US. But what they did, basically, does anyone know Canadian history a little bit? Does anyone know who the Prime Minister was in 2014 for Canada? Does anyone have to know? I guess not, huh? That's okay. His name was Stephen Harper. His government actually wanted immigrants from Malaysia to come and live in Canada back in those days. And so what my family did, they applied for permanent residency status for my family while we lived outside of Canada. It took 3 years for the application to get accepted, however. After that, after 3 years, during my last year of the high school, it was accepted. I thought, wow, what fate, what good luck for me. Yeah, lucky me. So I got my PR card, it was very nice and shiny. I showed it to McGill, and they said, oh, you're Canadian now, what is this? Okay, no, that's okay. Here you go, you can have the poutine, you can have the hockey stick, you go play the hockey. Here is the Canadian tuition fee for you, my friend, which is not as expensive, and a very nice price. However, though, this is where I really stress about it because my minor is actually in philosophy, right? So I talk a lot. I'm taking a course on public speaking right now, so I'm like preaching. But here's the thing, though. I really love my parents. I'm sure you guys realize that a child is one of the most expensive things you can get for free in this world, right? I don't know how many of our parents, but yes. And I just think that it's great because they spent 18 years raising me, cultivating me, even getting angry at me. They got the sandal and all that for me, but it was all to make me a better person, right? So they invested a lot of time, energy, and just finances into my well-being. thought, oh, thank you. And so I thought maybe I need to reduce my tuition fees to as low as possible. So I applied to lots of scholarships, right? And I got some. I applied to lots of grants and bursaries from the government. I got some. But the secret thing I did was that I came to McGill. I went to the scholarship office here. I walked in there. I walked to the desk. I said hello, and then I slammed my hand on the desk. I asked them, lower my tuition fees. They simply laughed me up. They thought this guy was crazy. But they talked about something called Quebec residency status. Maybe this is very important for you guys as counselors because this talks about tuition rates here. At McGill, we have 3 tuition rates that we could give our students. We have the international tuition fee, we have the Canadian tuition fee, and we have the Quebec tuition fee, which is the cheapest and most inexpensive of the bunch. I thought, I want that one. But he said there's a very tricky process to handle, but he gave me a lot of things talking about how to qualify for Quebec residency status. I went to the dollar store, I went to get the little magnifying glass, the cheap one, and then I scanned the article. I scanned the documents like the lawyers, right, in the movies, and indeed I found the loophole. The loophole states, if you obtain your permanent residency when you lived outside of Canada, and you land in Quebec as your first province of residence, you are eligible for Quebec residency status. I got a very big grin on my face. I typed in more things to McGill and they said, oh, vous êtes Québécois, mais non, bonjour, hello, bonjour. Here you go, you can have a baguette, and here is the Quebec tuition fee for you, my friend. And in the combination of my scholarships and my grants, I will not be paying for my university tuition for my undergraduate degree. So one of the reasons why I came here is because I don't know.
So you don't need the $5.
Now he's just pocketing them.